I maliciously complied with my boss's absurd demands and got sweet revenge. Hey guys. I recently had the pleasure of engaging in some deliciously satisfying malicious compliance with my boss. And I just had to share the story with you all. So, a little background. I work for a company that has a strict dress code policy. We're supposed to wear business formal attire at all times. And that includes wearing a tie. Now, I'm not a big fan of ties. I find them uncomfortable and unnecessary. But I understand that they're part of the dress code, so I wear them anyway. One day, my boss came up to me and told me that he didn't think my tie was appropriate. Apparently, it was a little too flashy for his taste. He demanded that I go home and change it immediately. I was a little taken aback, but I complied. I went home, changed my tie, and came back to work. The next day, my boss came up to me again and said that my new tie wasn't appropriate either. He said it was too plain and that I needed to wear something more interesting. I was starting to get frustrated at this point, but I complied again. I went home, searched through my ties, and found the most obnoxiously loud tie I could find. The following day, I showed up to work wearing the obnoxious tie. My boss looked at me and shook his head, clearly annoyed. He told me that it wasn't appropriate either and demanded that I go home and change it again. That's when I decided to engage in some malicious compliance. I went home, changed my tie again, but this time, I came back wearing a bow tie. Not just any bow tie, mind you, but a bright pink, sparkly bow tie. I strutted into the office, feeling like a boss. My boss's face turned bright red when he saw me. He demanded that I take off the bow tie and put on a regular tie. But I just smiled sweetly and reminded him that he had specifically said that I needed to wear something more interesting. And there was nothing more interesting than a bright pink, sparkly bow tie. To make a long story short, my boss eventually gave up and let me wear the bow tie. And you know what? It became kind of a running joke around the office. People started complimenting me on my interesting fashion choices, and my boss just had to grin and bear it. So, there you have it. Sometimes, the best way to deal with absurd demands is to maliciously comply. Have you guys ever engaged in malicious compliance? I'd love to hear your stories in the comments. The second time when he would send me home to get a new tie is the time I would ask him to either buy me a tie he finds appropriate, or go shopping for one with me, where he can pick out one I should buy. Bow ties are cool. I love that you actually had a pink sparkly bow tie laying around. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Arguments cannot be made in matters of taste. Once worked in a small convenience store. Small, so we did everything, and was told my nails weren't nice. Netjes, in Dutch. Enough at the end of a shift. Came back with clipped, cleaned and trimmed nails. Niet netjes, not nice, polished. Not nice. I took a good look at my manager and decided to follow her example. So I asked my sister, who just had the relevant training, to give me nice gel acrylic with a French manicure. I felt so pretty. No, that's for women only. Quote. You want to repeat that in writing? Smile with horns. I sported those talons for 3 days. Then switched to wearing black gardening gloves for the remaining year I worked there. I strutted into the office, feeling like a boss. You are a boss. Own that. Boss sounds very nitpicky. Were you supposed to bring every tie you owned in to get approved ties? Manager asked me to remove my earring. I'm a guy. I had one ring in. I said sure. Once all the women removed theirs. What's good for the gander is good for the goose. Never asked again. Did he pay mileage for you going home and back? I suggest you put in an expenses claim and see what happens. Who is he to even tell you what tie you're supposed to wear? That's not his business. Does this company rhyme with Centerprise? On the second complaint it have said then this sounds like a dress code policy that is in fact uniform. Here is Amazon and ties. You expense one ill wear it. As a software engineer, I would love to get fired for refusing to wear the right kind of tie. What a great story for the "why did you leave your last job?" question. My boss used to wear one with a picture of a giant parrot. My last depot manager issued an alert that all personnel must wear high-vis vests in all areas of the depot, except between the two admin buildings. I went out and bought a hot pink day-night vest and put "Don't hit me idiot" in reflective vinyl on the back. The notice inferred that we were to wear our issued vest, but didn't state it. I wear the issued vest when on the clock though, and wear mine to and from the staff car park. What an interesting man you are. Love your story. Love it rolling on the floor laughing. I work to paperwork and written instruction only. So when there's no paperwork, I don't work. Malicious compliance would be spending 2 hours at home and then coming back while on the clock. Sometimes the best way to deal with your staff is to just buy a few different ties for them to wear. It's only what? $510 each for a cheap one that doesn't actually look bad? Then you can buy a few for them so they aren't all the same and you know it won't be boring or too interesting. Have you guys ever engaged in malicious compliance? I'd love to hear your stories in the comments. This whole subreddit is about malicious compliance. Why not browse other posts in the subreddit, as that's typically where people share their stories.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.